Oh, yes, Mzansi. Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Tuesday, and we are continuing to serve you. We're choosing to spend it with you and do something quite special right now. Let's look after ourselves. And taking the time to tidy up and present yourself with care is like giving yourself a wink in the mirror to say, hey, I got this. And being well-groomed is not just about outward appearances. It's also a way of showing the world that you value yourself, which is oh so important right now. On top of this, it also boosts your confidence. It makes you feel like you can conquer anything that comes your way. So we're going to be delving into this topic right now. We've got an incredible panel that we put together. We've got a counseling psychologist. We're talking about Charles Davids, and our very own Sebastian Newman is back again, the stylista himself.
Hey, gentlemen.
Welcome to the couch. How are you doing?
Thank you. Well, thanks yourself.
Good, man. Charles, did you feel added pressure coming in this morning that you had to be really well turned out this morning? Because
Actually, not at all. Not at all. Because, I mean, that's what you do every morning, I suppose.
But this is it. It's a safe place. I always laugh. Like, people who know me well, and probably half the viewers will see this in my physical appearance, the life cycle thereof. It's very much tied to my mental state. If I'm going through an introspective kind of building and growing myself kind of thing, I'll start to look like this, like a mountain man, like I should be in that shirt. And then there'll be a day I'll rock up here with a fade with, and you know that it's a mental thing for me. It's a mental gateway. What is that connection, Charles? Why is grooming so tied to our psychology?
I think it's around the mental acuity, actually. Because if you think about it, well, let's take, if you look at a triangle, it's whatever we think affects how we feel, and that affects our behavior. So people always say to me they struggle to change how they think about stuff. But we can change the behavior. So if you look at it, so grooming is a behavior.
Yeah.
So if you take the time to groom, you feel better about yourself, and that means that it also affects the thinking, and you feel, and that affects the self-confidence, obviously. So.
It works. It's the first, it's like getting outside and run. Take one step. Don't climb, run the mountain. Wake up in the morning, just do a little bit. Just a little bit for yourself. I love that, yeah.
Plus, you're someone that obviously puts this into practice, right? I mean, I see you at every single event that exists in the Western Cape, KZN, Joburg. You are there.
Gone geographical.
And you're looking good while you do it. Is that something that's coming from, let's say, society? Is there external reason that makes you feel as though I need to look this way? I need to match up to the bar? Do you feel that that's the case? Or do you feel like you can actually just rock up there and be you?
I do think that there is an added pressure if you are in a space where eyes are on you, firstly. But I also just think it also goes down to, like, if you look good, you feel good, right? But looking good is also your version of looking good.
For sure.
Because your version of looking good and my version of looking good is two different things.
That's true, yeah.
So I think it's all on you, and I think that, yes, initially, back years ago, I used to have hair, right? Went bald. It's fine.
We like this, by the way.
But I used to sit in like a salon and try to make it white like for 6 hours a day and sit there and be like, why am I doing this to myself, burning myself? And I was like, shave it off. It's all good. It still looks nice. It's about how you feel about yourself.
For sure.
I think it comes down to that.
Yeah, going great for me was that, where I was so terrified of getting dad roles and things like that. And I didn't even have kids when I got my first dad role. I'm like, no!
Too soon!
And then my daughter was born and I went like grey overnight. And as soon as I embraced it, because I'm really immature, okay, let's be honest, so it just didn't match. But once I embraced it, it actually just fitted. And that's the bottom line. And my self-confidence as a result has gone right back up there. What is this relationship between our physical appearance and our self-confidence from the inside? I know, yes, externally people judge us and that can affect our confidence, but when we invert that, why is it so tied psychologically to this grooming process? What is that link?
You know, as I was saying, if you think about it, we do a lot of self-talk. So if I do the grooming, a lot of people just look in the mirror and say, wow, today I look well.
Yeah.
But also it's about, it brings that, as I'm saying, because the linking between whatever it is that I think. And if I think I look good, I feel good. And then I also go with the attitude when I leave the house with the attitude. But you know that almost that silent recognition when you then walk into the room without people saying anything. And that also affects how I feel and actually has then the impact on the self-image, you know, how I carry myself and the attitude that goes with that as well.
And those little moments can make a big difference, eh? If you're
absolutely.
feeling down, that can be what picks you back up again. Conversely, though, if you're feeling up there, just one little side eye. Or, oh, okay, that's nice. You're going to go with the green one.
Pants doesn't really fit. Why didn't you choose the yellow shirt? Right?
Oh, you just think about it for the whole night. I love this conversation, gents. Thank you for coming through. And this is something that we want to maybe put to you as well, Mzansi. So maybe you can share your thoughts on this topic with us on our social media and let us know what you heard from this conversation and what really makes you feel good. And that's important. The connection between grooming is obviously also important too. And I want to thank the gentleman for coming through again on the couch, serving us and making us see where the bar's at. How we can also look good, but you definitely have said it indeed. So thank you so much, Mzansi, for joining in on this conversation. And let us know what you think. Are you feeling the grooming when you are into the grooming, or do you need a little bit more work than that? For now, though, it's time to head into something special. The man's been standing by. His voice is ready to serve us. And before we get into that, we're going to warm his throat up and then bring you some beautiful entertainment. So, Mzansi, sit back and enjoy.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Hopefully we caught you busy grooming yourself in the mirror. Grooming is more than just appearance. We've made that connection. It's a reflection of self-care, attention to detail, self-worth, what you believe about yourself. And our panel of experts are back to continue the discussion on how to master your grooming game. And what I love about this, guys, Charlotte and Bass, is that we're all experts in our own grooming journey because it speaks to ourselves and our own inner demons, our own shortcomings, misconceptions. Maybe we can put this to both of you. What myths have you discovered around grooming, about male grooming in particular? Because I think men kind of put a few barriers in between this wonderful tool for self-worth.
Well, firstly, they say men shouldn't because that's a female thing. And that's a huge, huge, huge kind of myth. Because, but I must admit that I think over the last couple of years, we've seen how young men actually came into the fold and show all the older generation, hey, it's okay to do it and it doesn't.
I don't want to look like you when I'm your age.
You know, so for me that's really the biggest myth of it all, because it means that you must be, I mean, this whole chauvinistic thing that it may the real men don't do that.
It's toxic masculinity.
Get out of here with that.
Out the window.
Bass, you had any crazy experiences from your side or myths that got debunked? I remember like shaving legs for me was like a thing that I was so scared to walk around with. Like we were shaving our legs for like sport, but I was so scared I was going to be judged like by having lady legs or something.
Until you see your calves in the mirror. Right?
Like, you're like, yeah. Good.
Also for me, it's just like, you know, like these people that think that, you know how lick it is? Do it, like be pampered, go for a facial. Have somebody just like for a minute. And I think the whole self-grooming thing is also just time you're taking for yourself.
Yes.
Like it's just taking time for yourself to just cut away from the world and just chill. And
it's me time.
Guys, it's great.
It's reset. It's a reset, and I've made it that. I've made it okay, when I'm gutful, when I've had enough of everything, just reset. Go and do that. Spend some time. I love my barber. I go to an old school barber who's the only guy who can do
a super fader, no bleeder.
And it also becomes like a therapy session.
Oh, it is.
You start connecting with your therapist.
That's counseling right
and
there.
they can't even speak English. They just listen to me. They just listen and laugh. They listen and laugh. That being said, and look, I go to a very accessible barber. $60 a cut, awesome best fade you can get. So it doesn't have to be an economic question, but some people are going to see that economic barrier or other barriers for that matter. How do we transcend that? How do we move past that?
But it doesn't have to be. I don't know why people think that everything good is expensive, because it's not necessarily. Even clothes, I mean, you can get away with quite a cheaper version of things, but still look good.
100%.
And I just say find your style and find your kind of things. You're talking about, I mean, facials. I mean, how relaxing that is if you do go for it. It's, I mean, it deals with stresses as well, because if you quite wind up, you go. And it helps a lot with just doing that. So for me, it doesn't have to be quite expensive. I mean, if you're speaking about a barber, because you can just shop around and you can find a good one and make sure that you keep it that way.
And also with like social media today, you can literally find a tutorial on anything online.
That is true.
So you can just go on YouTube, get your things, get your shaving kit out, and play around, don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, and I mean, you can involve your partner. It can be romantic. It can be, you can involve your kids. It can be awesome like that. I love it. My little boy wants to kind of, when I do my grooming on a Sunday, and that's what we do. We make it a thing so that he thinks he knows that that's part of his tradition when he's starting a week, when he's going to go to school tomorrow, he must look good, he must feel good, check his nails, do those things. And it's become a very male bonding experience for us in that space. Absolutely. I love the fact that this can be a reset, a game changer. So someone who lives in the space and clearly has come to terms with those kind of pressures, what advice do you have for someone who is battling to kind of develop their own self-care routine?
I think going back to the whole pressure from society, right? It's like, okay, everybody's doing now this particular thing, or they're threading the beard, or they're doing that, whatever. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing. Find what works for you and find what you love to do.
What makes you happy.
That. Do you. That
You
is
do you,
the basis
boo.
of it.
Absolutely.
Charles?
Well, it's absolutely. And, you know, for me, the grooming, you're speaking about what does it internally does to us. It's, you know, for all of us, I always say people go through different mental health challenges, but it's the connectivity that is. And grooming is connectivity to the self. And as soon as we've done that, the self-care is taken care of, and it helps us to get through the day as well.
If you want to understand the impact, just take someone who doesn't have access. If you know a homeless person, for instance, that you formed a relationship with, take them into a salon or take them to a barber, get them a cut. Just have a conversation and see the person that emerges through that process. Life-changing. Guys, thank you so much for weighing in.
gents, thank you.
Shaving and threading. Looks spectacular.
Yeah, look, it doesn't stop there, of course. We've got something for you too, Mzansi. Grooming is obviously more than appearance. It's a daily ritual for self-care, like we've just heard, and it builds so much confidence and self-respect. Now, BIC Flex products with their precision and comfort, and it also enhances the grooming experience, which allows you to reveal your best self. Now, it's something that I want you all to be involved in. It's something that we should get going when it comes to the conversation. And like G said, also building incredible rituals like that too. So you have the opportunity to also get involved in this. So you maybe want to get your grooming on. Reach out to some of these lads as well. Maybe they've got some tips for you. And like you heard, online has some incredible opportunities to work that new look. Boo, you do you.
You do deserve it. You really do.